may not know this, but Bible films have been around since the beginning of filmmaking. Right back in the early 1920s, some of the greatest and most successful films were actual Bible movies. Films like Noah and Samson and Delilah. Then, of course, the famous epic by Cecil B. DeMille's The Ten Commandments. The Bible as a book has outperformed every other book on earth for hundreds of years. In fact, the Bible has topped bestseller lists, so much so that it's actually been removed from them because it just embarrasses all the other authors by continually replacing them as the #1 selling book. When the Bible was translated by a man called Wycliffe back in the Dark Ages, an incredible thing took place. Prior to that day, the Bible had only been read in the Latin by priests and people in the high church. It wasn't available for the common man. The world as we know it was in a time called the Dark Ages, and in the context of massive persecution, Wycliffe translated it faithfully into the vernacular of the common man. It was radical. Fires of revival broke out all throughout the world, and a time called the Reformation came, which was really the end of the Dark Ages and a period of enlightenment in every area and every facet. Humanity benefited greatly, and everything we know today, our politics, our government, our schools, our public welfare, all these systems, our hospitals, are a direct result of that book being translated into the common language of the common man. Today's no different. We've got a translation problem. If you go onto any school bus or any school playground, any cafe around the white Western world, you'll see people playing their devices, looking at their handheld implements, their iPhones, their iPads, their devices, being entertained by technology, watching video, looking at video blogs and communicating through SMS and chat rooms. Very rarely do you see someone pick up a Bible today. Of course, there are Bible apps and you can read the Bible online, but video and film is the language of this generation. The pulpits have been replaced by the cinemas, and kids are getting their messages through the people that they idolise. The Hollywood stars, the Hollywood films. These are the vehicles being used to not only educate but set moral standards and actually set the type of bars that people aspire to. They want to do what the famous people do. It's that simple. They want to dress how they dress, speak like they speak, act how they act. Whether it's through the tabloids or through the cinema, this is the pulpit of today, popular culture. So why not take this book, the best-selling book of all time, and put it into the language of today? Simply translate it using a green screen, using actors, even the voice book of the Bible experience. The audio translation produced recently shot to the #1 of the best-selling audiobook list. The hunger has been qualified for the Bible. It's just, can we get it in front of this generation in a way that's cost-effective, has a great production quality, and is engaging? I believe we can. I believe with the great advances in technology, we can actually deliver a Bible product with some very, very, very simple tools. First of all, we use iPad teleprompters. Now, these allow actors to download huge amounts of script without actually learning the lines. It's a very simple technique, but because an iPad is so small and the old-fashioned teleprompters used to be so large and so expensive, a small teleprompter can actually be held by what we call a wrangler and actually follow the eye line of an actor. So you don't actually see the iPad when you're watching the film, you see the actor talking and moving and thinking and acting out these lines without actually realizing that they're reading a script. Now this is crucial for the production of a Bible film because the simple length of the Bible will be 80 hours to produce it. That's a lot of film. But can you imagine how much time it would take to train actors to learn those verses word line by line? I believe this and this alone is the simple reason why the Bible has never been done word for word. It is just logistically so impossible. It's just too big. But with iPads and with teleprompters, you can get through chapters in a day, which would be impossible when you're trying to learn the script off by heart. Secondly is the green screen. Green screen is fantastic. You can put whatever you want in the background. We can make it look like a castle, a desert landscape, look like a battle scene. Whatever we want to do, we can do with the simple use of green screen technology. Now, this is not a concept for a big budget Hollywood movie. Quite the contrary. This is a translation of the Bible, the first one of its kind in the world. This will be the first time anyone, anywhere has ever produced a video Bible or a movie Bible. And that's the key. This is word for word translation into film. And that's why we can do it at a cost-effective price, delivering quality budget, but also set a production company up for fully fledged, big budget productions. So this is an introduction to a concept that I invite you to join us on, where we can see the same impact, I believe, that Wycliffe had in the Dark Ages to affect today's generation. There is so much confusion in the world about what the Bible actually says. I propose we let the Bible say it and watch what happens.
There was a man in the land of Uz, whose name was Job. That man was blameless and upright, and one who feared God and turned away from evil. There were born to him 7 sons and 3 daughters. His possessions also were 7,000 sheep, 3,000 camels, 500 yoke of oxen, 500 she-donkeys, and a very great household, so that this man was the greatest of all the children of the East. His sons went and held a feast in the house of each one on his birthday, and they sent and called for their 3 sisters to eat and to drink with them. It was so, when the days of their feasting had run their course, that Job sinned and sanctified them, and rose up early in the morning, and offered burnt offerings according to the number of them all. For Job said, "It may be that my sons have sinned, and renounced God in their hearts." Thus Job did continually. Now it happened on the day when the sons of God came to present themselves before the Lord, that Satan also came among them. The Lord said to Satan,
"Whence comest thou?"
"From going back and forth in the earth, and from walking up and down in it."
"Hast thou considered my servant Job, that there is none like him in the earth, a perfect and an upright man, one that feareth God and escheweth evil?
Does Job fear God for nothing? Haven't you put a defensive wall around him and around his house and around all that he has on every side? Bless the work of his hands, and his house and wealth is increased in the land. Put forth your hand now and touch all that he has, and he will renounce you to your faith.
Behold, all that he hath is in thy power. Only upon himself put not forth thine hand.
So Satan went forth from the presence of the Lord. It fell on a day when his sons and his daughters were eating and drinking wine in their eldest brother's house, that there came a messenger to Job.
The cattle were working hard and the donkeys were just grazing in the field next to us when these Sabaeans attacked. They stole all the animals and killed all the field hands. I'm the only one who got out alive to tell you what happened. I'm the only one who got out alive.
While he was still speaking, there also came another and said,
The fire of God has fallen from the sky, and has burned up the sheep and the servants, and consumed them. And I alone have escaped to tell you.
While he was still speaking, there came also another and said,
What now?
The Chaldeans made 3 bands, and swept down on the camels, and have taken them away, yes, and killed the servants with the edge of the
You
sword.
alone have escaped to tell me?
While he was still speaking, there came also another and said,
My sons and daughters eating, drinking wine? A great wind from the wilderness struck the 4 corners of the house, and it fell on the young men. They are dead. You alone have escaped. Oh no! Oh! Yahweh! Yahweh!